Hey there, and welcome to another chit-chatty episode of Mandatory Social Interaction Show. As always, I am joined by my man. I'm having trouble coming up with one. I usually have them already.
Yeah. It's the
My
chill out
eternal
edition.
co-host, Ben
Eternal?
Burns.
And does that mean
Eternal
I'm stuck
co-host.
here forever, or I'm going to live forever?
You're stuck with me on MSIS until we decide to cancel the show.
No.
How's that? That's eternal. Eternal
No.
in the context of the show.
We're not going to cancel it anytime soon, anyway.
So today we are keeping things a little bit chill. We're gonna just be talking today about pretty much the future of our content. Kind of consider this a state of the show address, I guess.
This is a continuation of what we were talking about yesterday as well. So if you haven't seen episode 41 that was released yesterday, I highly suggest going back there and checking that out as well.
Yeah, because we're going to talk about it a little bit, but we're kind of aiming to keep our show length minimized compared to where we started, which we started at about an hour an episode.
Yeah.
And we're trying to find that sweet spot up around 30 to 45 minutes an episode, which seems to be much more workable for a podcast type show.
Yeah. And I mean, especially since these episodes are split into two, like over the weekend, I think that, I mean, still you get an hour in aggregate, but you just get a little bit less. And I know, and one of the reasons why I was thinking about like shortening it is because if I see a video and it's like, oh my God, this is 50 minutes, that's a lot of time to invest, even if it's sitting in the background.
Right.
So I feel that having like shorter episodes like this will help just kind of keep things a little bit more manageable, both for us because it's like a time investment for us, but it'll also just it'll allow us to get more things done and be a little bit easier for you to consume, you as the viewer or the listener in this case. Yeah, so I think that it'll be good to kind of continue this. And another thing that we were talking about, Tim, we were talking about working on more cooperative games because Portal 2 was actually a lot of fun.
Yeah, and I think it might have been a little frustrating. Excuse me, for our viewers, at least in chat, because we were kind of blundering through some of the puzzles, but you asked two tired nerds to figure out puzzles, and we're gonna kind of bluster through them.
Yeah.
But I feel like I enjoyed myself a lot, and not saying I haven't enjoyed myself in the past on MSIS, but we were getting to a point where, in terms of discussion, it was getting hard to balance work life with meaningful discussion.
Yeah,
and
finding
I
new
think
topics
having
and everything.
I think having a more focused cooperative experience and trying to sprinkle in, and again doing the, like we talked about last episode, kind of working on our Let's Play chops a little bit and having meaningful discussion while we work together is going to be an acquired skill, and I think that's something that we can work on improving with. So it may be a little rougher than you might see in past MSISs in terms of discussion or our topics or voice filler, but the game content will probably be a little better and it'll be a little bit more concise overall.
Yeah, and that isn't
And
to
I think
say that
that's-
if a topic comes up, we'll still talk about it. But I mean, what we used to do is we used to have like a Word document full of like things that we should talk about, and we still have like a handful in here. But it's just like it's so much easier for topics to come up organically to discuss rather than just be like, okay, well, what do you think about this? And then, we get a three sentence answer and like, okay, I guess we're done with that topic. And then we just kind of move on.
Because some of the topics that we had come up with were great at the time that we came up with them, but when it came to time to actually like dig in and discuss
no context anymore.
that passioned, and the impassioned argument that we might have come up at the time is already gone. It's already left our minds. So I think that kind of made a little bit of difference in terms of our list. And the list is a great idea, but I felt like it got a little forced to just jump on list stuff. And I think when we started playing Portal, it really kind of was like that nice eye-opening moment where I'm like, this is cool, this is good.
Until
like,
it got really
we're
hard.
talking about stuff. Yeah, that got really hard. But we were talking about stuff, and we were enjoying ourselves and having a good time. And I think that that means a lot more to the end product than just talking about a topic for filler's sake.
Yeah, and that actually, going back to the episode we put out yesterday, the last episode, that's something I didn't mention. It's just like, it's very important to be genuine, to not like, to just be a person, to be a personality, and like not try to force your personality into something that you're not, because people will see that, or at least they'll get the idea of what's happening. And I think that's kind of what was going on, especially near the end, like episode 30 or 32 or something, where we were playing Minecraft, but we were kind of checked out because we were done with all the projects we wanted to do in Minecraft. Kind of like, I made my stupid staircase to the top of the mountain, and you were working on some kind of pyramid or something. And it's just like, well, let's just play a different game. Like, I know tradition dictated us to play Minecraft, but we kind of played it out, unless we wanted to like go through the story mode, which I don't think either of us were terribly interested in.
Yeah, and it kind of, I don't know. Yeah, I agree. It kind of just became going through the motions rather than enjoying ourselves and making good content. And we played, what did we play? Company of Heroes together.
Mm-hmm. That was the first time.
We put the whole focus. Yeah, we put the whole focus. The primary focus was on doing well in the game and having fun with it, like, and just trying to figure out what we were doing. And of course we failed the first time we played it, but we had so much fun doing it. We were like, we got to do that again. I mean, it was fun and it was enjoyable, and we were working together, and it became it. And our original, goal for the show was to do mainly discussion and that sort of thing. But I think if we can kind of blend in that Let's Play style a little better, I think it'll serve our purposes better in the long run. It'll help, because the Mandatory Social Interaction show, the original idea you had was that we would just hang out, spend time interacting, and having kind of that social hour type thing, right? And I think that co-op games really lend themselves. That's the whole purpose, right? Is to work cooperatively and to interact and work together. And I think that really works well for the purposes of this show. And I know we were playing co-op games, but we were, again, just kind of going through the motions while discussing topics. And I think that if we can find a happy middle ground, we'll be much better for it.
Yeah, and I'm sure we will. Like, it's all organic conversation anyway. I'm sure stuff comes up, stuff from our respective lives and everything else. So I'm looking forward to just trying a different format for this. And I think we were talking about going back to Borderlands initially. And we can give that a try. I know Borderlands was actually in the second episode. We did Borderlands 2, and I was really bad at it, but I was also still kind of learning the whole format. So I'm hoping that I'll be able to play an FPS and talk at the same time, which might be a great feat.
The thing, I think what we'll do, is we can kind of take our time as well, because what we did with Portal is we played through the whole thing. And I'm not saying we'll necessarily do that with like Borderlands 2, but we'll at least put more than just one single, 45-minute long episode into the game. Yeah. And that way we don't feel like we're just kind of rushing through it to get through it, or, just kind of blundering along to make, something visual to go along with the discussion. Yeah. And I think if we can strike that nice medium balance, I think it'll be pretty good. And we're going to give a lot of stuff a try, I think. I think we're going to give it a go. And if we play games like Borderlands, which has up to 4-player co-op, we could pull in, our usual guests, Shaka Panda, or some other guests along the way, too, to join us and kind of just mess around and have fun with.
Yeah, and adding more guests is something that at least I personally want to do, and I think you do, too. Just because it's a lot of fun to inject a third person in there, because then conversation can really kind of go off in its own tangent. And there's a lot more back and forth and extra ideas getting thrown around, and I think that's really important. So yeah,
I agree.
We're gonna keep working on messing with the format here, and really, like, we were thinking about it. It's like we don't have a manager to report to or anything for this. Like, we can do whatever we want with this show. So exactly. Like, let's just roll with it and see if this works. And if it doesn't, we can always go back to the old format. It's no big deal. So yeah, we're gonna give this a shot.
the only people we're really beholden to is not only our viewers but ourselves.
Yeah.
And if we aren't enjoying it, then we shouldn't be doing it.
Yep.
And
See
we
prior
gotta fix it.
episode.
Yes, we talk about that at length. So in the prior episode. So do you have anything kind of in mind for your content overall, Ben, rather outside of the scope of MSIS, but for kind of a macro scope of your overall strategy and plan for the next year?
Yeah, I do. And this is kind of the second topic that we wanted to talk about for this. It's just like there's so many things going on right now. I know I have a lot of balls in the air, and Tim, I think you do too, just for various things that you're working on. And I feel like I kind of need to restructure how everything works in regards to my channel and my content and everything like that. And I started a Patreon about 6 or 7 months ago, and initially it was geared towards catering to content creators. So people could subscribe to my Patreon and get music that they could use in their specific content that they're creating, whether that's a Let's Play video or a podcast or anything else, a video game. And I don't really feel that that's really worked the way that I've wanted it to. And I gave it a long time. I gave it like 6 months to see if it would actually pick up, but it really hasn't. And I'm thinking about changing the way my Patreon is structured, and as a result of that, it kind of changes how everything else that I create is structured as well. I want to focus more on creating music for people rather than creating music for content creators, which isn't to say that I won't have an option for content creators. Like, I'll just make sure that all of my music is available, and if you're a content creator and you want the loops, then you can pay like a little bit extra per month to get the access to the looped files for your podcast or whatever. And because it's working towards or it's geared towards just listeners, I can work on creating content that's interesting to the listeners instead of just doing the 2-hour track challenge every week. So I have new content. I can focus on creating different songs and just working on albums, like personal albums, and then I can just use those songs that I made as previews, and a preview download inside the Patreon every week or something like that. So I'm working on a lot of different things for that. The 2-hour track challenge has been a lot of fun, but it's creatively exhausting, and that's the best way I can put it.
It seems pretty high energy to do. Yeah. That's a lot of stress and pressure to put on yourself.
Yeah, it's a ton of fun. And I can't complain about it, but my goal right now is to get to 52 episodes, which I think I'm at 49 right now. And then I won't shutter it. Like I won't quit it. I won't, but I also won't do it every week. I'll probably just move to doing just normal content. Like, oh, this is a music stream, so I'm going to work on music for 2 hours or 3 hours or how much time I have. And that way I can still do music production because I think that that's very fun. And maybe like on special occasions, or if I'm just feeling like it, then I can bust out like 2-hour check challenge and just kind of mess around and do something weird. And I know during the extra life stream that we're going to do, I wanted to do at least one 2-hour track challenge just because it's kind of novel and fun.
Yeah.
But yeah.
That would be cool.
Yeah. So like, if I'm not doing the 2-hour track challenge, that leaves a gap in my YouTube release schedule, meaning that I have to go and find something else to fill that gap. And I'm not entirely sure what I'm going to do yet, but I just got this new camera and I'm going to start messing around with video stuff. In the last episode, Tim, you were talking about the streamer that you found to be very influential on how you got started and how you kind of evolve your style. And recently I found a YouTube channel managed by Andrew Wong, and he is incredible.
He's
and awesome.
Incredible.
Yeah, and
I love his stuff.
Did
you see his most recent video? I gotta ask.
Oh yeah, it's great. They're all great. But yeah, like the most recent one is in the one he put out yesterday or Friday.
No, there was one today. I think where he got the sound.
Yeah, the soundboard from Apple. That was awesome. But it's just like.
Yeah, I think that was today.
Yeah, it might have been earlier today. Either way, it's just like I watch his videos and it just lights a fire in me. All I want to do is just be like, I want to do that. And I mean, that's the reason why I bought this camera, and that's the reason why I invested in a new microphone, the Shure SM7B, which is the one Andrew has, which is a fucking awesome microphone, by the way. But it's just like I'm working on building my studio, and I've had the funds available for this because I've been saving my money from, you know, album sales and various commission projects. But I want to start doing videos like that. And I don't think I'll have the same production quality that Andrew has, at least not for a while. But like you were saying in the last episode, you have to start somewhere. And just doing these kind of videos that are fun and kind of irreverent and just weird, I think that's really kind of my calling right now. And I want to try it. And I have a lot of kind of strange ideas for song challenges. There's one that I wrote down today called the 5-foot song challenge, where I have to basically make sound effects for anything within a 5-foot radius of where I'm currently standing, and then I have to make a song out of that. I'm not sure how that's going to work, but it's just one of those things where it's just like, I want to see if I can do it. And I think it would be fun if I could record a video and just make just a silly little video and do that once a week. And that would also create some exclusive content on my Twitch channel, because right now most of the stuff that I stream on Twitch gets bounced over to YouTube anyway. So right. It's just like changing that one thing on my Patreon kind of restructures everything I do. So I'm gonna work on probably doing more Let's Play content for YouTube. I'm gonna start doing extra streams on Twitch, and it's just like I'm gonna just try to I want to say that 2017 is going to be the year of community for me. I want to build more community. I want to not necessarily community focused on me, but focused around me. So I'm able to help people, and other people are able to help other people, and stuff like that. Like I created that Discord channel, which a handful of people are in, and
I am.
Yeah, exactly.
Well,
and
it sounds to me like the restructuring of your Patreon gives you a lot more creative freedom too.
Yeah, it does.
And I think that is a big deal, especially for you, because you are so multi-talented in what you do and what you can do. And it as much as I love the way your Patreon is set up now, I am a Patreon. I'm one of your patrons on Patreon, and I'm proud of that. And I will tell anybody to go subscribe to Ben Burns' Patreon.
Oh, thank you.
But I think that you overall need to be able to give yourself room to just create whatever comes to mind, because you limiting yourself to just music, I don't think is where you should be, because you're such like a multimedia kind of guy. Like you've got the you obviously you want to get your video editing chops up, and you want to work on that. And you've mentioned getting the Adobe
Creative
Cloud thing, so that you can start working on doing After Effects and Premiere
first. But yeah,
that's about the price. But yeah, so that sort of thing is kind of big for you, and I think that'll really give you a lot more leeway to do Ben, as it were.
Yeah, and I've mentioned it before. It like the 2-hour track challenge was difficult enough, and then once I started this Patreon, I had this extra layer of, oh well, is this going to be appropriate for like a podcast intro or something like that? And that just created too much pressure. And once I realized that I'm just going to make stuff and hopefully people like it, and I haven't received any complaints where like, this song is crap, I want a refund, but it's very difficult to find something that works for everybody. And I think I just tried to put too much on myself at once. So
and maybe you can do a secondary in the future or something, if you're feeling comfortable enough. To do content for content creators. But I think your and this is just a personal view, that your scope was a little too broad for it being a new venture.
Yeah.
Like, doing content for content creators is great and all, but I think you have to like make a lot more connections.
Yeah.
And know a lot more content creators who need that, because I know for damn sure I needed that. And I will still be utilizing all the stuff that you've posted, because there's some really good stuff in there for things that I want to do. Like I want to do more vlogs and more live action stuff myself. And it's valuable for me, but not as valuable as seeing you be able to create content and really improve your craft overall.
Yeah, and
So
one of the other problems I had was, like you said, like I just didn't have the audience for it already, so it didn't have anywhere to grow. And I think part of the reason why I wanted to do the Patreon in the first place is because it was a novel idea, and hopefully I was hoping on getting press or something to help spread the word, and I didn't really get that. And so I'm not really calling it a failure, but I'm also not really calling it a success. I'm just like, this isn't working right now. I'm gonna move on, and hopefully I can go back to it at another time.
yeah,
And I think
and I
I
think
talked
that's
for like
the
7 minutes straight, which is a new record for this show.
yes, it was. I was quite impressed. But yeah, I think that's the best way to look at it. Is that it was an experiment, and while it didn't meet all your expectations, I would say it succeeded to a point. And to really take it to the next level, you just need to kind of get your bearings and revisit it in the future.
Yeah.
And I hope you will, because I will subscribe to both Patreons if I have to.
Well, and the thing is, and the other thing that, I mean, kind of shot me in the foot was the fact that I want all my music to be available to everybody forever. Yeah. Like, there are some albums that I made that are exclusive to the game developers who purchase them, who commission them. But beyond that, I just want people to use the music. Like, I'm not in this for the money in the same way that I need it to live. Like, I have a day job that I can purchase groceries with, but I want to be able to provide stuff to other content creators, because helping other people succeed is one of the things that makes me happy. And like, if I can make another part of somebody else's development process or production process easier, I want to do that. But anyway, we'll go ahead, Tim.
Well, and that's kind of to kind of segue over to kind of where I'm looking at is that is kind of where I was seeing my own stream going, and because I'm of the same mind. Like, I just want to see people succeed, and especially the people that I really have a lot of respect for, really like what they're doing. I really want to see them succeed. So like fellow streamers, content creators, that sort of thing, I want to see succeed. So one of the things that I took to doing for a little while at least was doing raids of my viewers into other streams, and kind of giving the viewership, handing that viewership over from my current stream, which was ending, to somebody else, so that people could, go and give them some love and maybe discover somebody they haven't discovered before. And so I was doing that for a little while, and it seemed to be working pretty well, and I was getting a lot of positive response from the streamers that were being rated. And rating's not a new thing, and it's not a completely unique thing to me, but the fact that I have a community at my size is almost unheard of. And especially with the dedicated core that I have, and I've said it many times before, and I'll say it yet again, I am outrageously thankful to everybody who watches my content on almost a daily basis. That's awesome to me. And the fact that they spend 4 to 5 hours a day with me is crazy to me. It's just nuts. And they whenever I can get the opportunity to have them go boost somebody's numbers, at least for a little while, which can often translate into bigger numbers overall for that evening or whatever, like more viewers and whatnot, I'll definitely take that opportunity and do it to the best I can, because I want to see other streamers succeed as much as I want myself to succeed. So because the way I look at it is, if the good streamers survive, then you have people to work with in the future when you want to do collaborative content and things like that. So anyways, so that's kind of, I kind of know where you're coming from with your, with your passion to really see others succeed.
Yeah.
So, and that hits close to home for me.
Yeah. So what are your plans for the future of your kind of channels?
And this is something that is kind of like an always evolving thing with me, because I feel like some days if I even sit back for if I stop moving for a minute, I may just burst into flames. Like there are nights that I'll go lay down and I won't be able to sleep because my brain is just itching to go, edit a video and have something ready for my YouTube channel the next day, or to go work on new panels for my channel, or to go make a new intro or something like that. And I'll have to get up and I'll have work at I'll have to be at work in an hour, well, not an hour, but like 3 or 4 hours, and I'll still be plugging away on making an intro because my brain will not let me sleep unless I get this done.
Yeah.
And so I'm gonna keep doing my best, and I think that's the best I can do, because there's a lot of uncertainty coming up with work that I really can't get into yet, but it's not going to be a good thing.
That sucks.
For my own mental well-being, but it is what it is, and I can only buckle up and just try to stick it out. And so this year is going to be my year for just trying to improve my own abilities and to work on growing the community myself. Like, you have your year of community, and I want to try to take mine to the next level. Kind of grow it to a point where it's almost self-sustaining in a way, like, if that makes sense. Like,
definitely
not in a way where I've got like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people, but like one thing that I've noticed is that the guy that I mentioned, the Twitch streamer I mentioned last episode, Ray, or Brown Man, if you watch him on Twitch, he has a community Discord for his subscribers, and that he only goes on that Discord really when he makes an announcement, or when it's his Sub Sunday and he's like posting links for people to join games with him or things like that. So that whole Discord almost runs itself with his mods and stuff, and he rarely goes on it. So I want to try to get to a point similar, and not saying to have the hundreds of people he has on his Discord, but I would very much like to see my community grow to a point, and it almost is there, but I still do a lot of conversation starting and such on the Discord, and if it could grow to a point where it's completely self-sustaining, and I could be off it for a week and come back, and I'm not saying I would, but like if I took a vacation or something and came back to it, it would still be bumping, and people would still be talking and hanging out, and make connections and friends, which I think is a big deal to me, is when people can actually make connections and friends. Like you and 2 other folks are in Minnesota, like less than 20 miles from each other.
Yeah, it's kind of
something
crazy.
like that. Yeah, and you guys had never really connected before. You guys had never even knew each other existed until you really started talking in my Discord and stuff, and through Twitch and things like that. I don't think, and to me that's mind-boggling. The fact that you guys could make that connection and and just talk and have such a similar life experience is crazy to me. And and it's cool because my this little community that I helped foster has made such a cool connection, and that's powerful to me, and that makes me thirsty for more. So in terms of streaming, I'm gonna definitely keep playing up Discord and trying to grow that community side of things, because I think that's the ultimate in centralized connection outside of stream. Like, because when you stream and you don't have a Discord, people kind of just disappear when you're not streaming.
Yeah, when you're done streaming, there's no more chat really. And then, so having another place where people can congregate in between the streams or even during the streams, I think that's very, very important, which I kind of took that from you when I made my own channel, which only has a handful of people, but I haven't really worked on growing it at all. I just kind of created it to make sure that I could.
Right. Yeah. And it's one of those things that it is a slow growth thing, and but if you can get people involved, that creates viewers, dedicated viewers. Like if somebody comes into your stream, watches your stream, follows you and hangs out, once and then never comes back, you've lost them. They're just not going to come back. And then you'll have the follow, but it's just a number. Now, if they come in, they engage with you, and then you say, hey, you should check out our Discord, and then they go to the Discord and see how welcoming everybody is, and join in on a conversation. You've made a permanent fixture for your community, and that's where the power in Discord lies, and that's mainly what I kind of want to grow. And it's not because I particularly like Discord. And in fact, I really don't like Discord as a platform really at all, mainly because they have some of the, like, one of their big focuses is voice chat, and their voice chat sucks. It's low quality. It causes blue screens on my stream box. It causes way more issues than it fixes. And so I'm not a huge fan of Discord as a whole, but it is right now the most accessible gamer focused chat platform and connectivity platform that's out there.
Yeah, and I mean there's Slack, but that's really, it has its own problems.
Yeah, and the problem with Slack is it's not gamer centric. If you've got something that's gamer focused, people are going to be more likely to kind of zero in on it because, hey, it shows people's game status, so you can actually connect with people that way, and you could join them in a game, that sort of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And that's powerful in its own right. And I'm not poo-pooing Discord at all, because I think it's a great concept. I think the execution just has a long way to go, but it's still young.
Yeah, it really is.
But not to get off on a tangent, I think in terms of my stream, I want to grow the Discord. I'm still undecided about my dedication to Beam as a platform. Overall, Beam has a lot of issues. It's not very streamer friendly. The community is probably one of the most cliquish communities I've ever seen on a website. Like, and I mean, this is coming from being an original AOL person who would hop chat rooms as a hobby, and that stuff got pretty cliquish, and joining forums and things like that, that's hard to break into. Beam is an almost impossible nut to crack for me. I just don't understand. They have this weird mentality of, they call it Beam love, where they shout it whenever you raid them or you host them or whatever, and I find it to be kind of a almost insulting type thing, if that makes sense. Like, not to be inflammatory, but like when you host somebody, you're hosting them because you like their content. You're not hosting them because you have some weird urge to do it because Beam wants you to do it.
Yeah.
And when you host somebody or you raid somebody and they're like, oh, Beam love. Well, no, it wasn't. It's not Beam. It's me. It's my community that I'm raiding you with. I'm not raiding you with Beam. Beam is not telling me to raid you. So that. It's a silly thing. It's almost this is a really hyperbolic word, but it's almost like cultish, like, if that makes sense.
No, it makes perfect sense.
In that they're like we're gonna even their developers on the platform are like, oh, spread the Beam love, and then if you say anything against it on their stream and somebody hears it, they will just rip into you, and they will get upset with you, like Devious Furball, he went into one of their dev streams and they were talking about Beam love and spreading the Beam love and blah blah blah, and he was like, that's a load of BS, because that's not how it works, and he was like, Insert Coin Theater does everything the same way, and yet there's nobody rating him all the time, and there's no Beam love there, and blah blah blah, and they're just like, and everybody like chewed him out for it, and I'm just like, wow, that's bonkers to me.
Yeah, and I think that it's a very, very young platform, and we've talked about this before, where there's like two types of people that get on early or young platforms like that, and that's early adopters, and that's just people who want to feel special. And they're kind of the same thing sometimes, but it's like it does create that cultish vibe, especially if they can't draw in more people beyond that. It just kind of turns into this big homogenous blob of people.
Well, it's become almost and again, forgive the hyperbolic word, but it's become almost incestuous, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Like the streamers go and follow the streamers subscribe to other streamers, and like it's all in an attempt to grow numbers rather than cultivate community. And yeah, sure, it's great to have a Beam community, but there's that's only going to go as far as a Twitch community goes. And a Twitch community is like a very small subset of people.
Mm-hmm.
Like, And in Beam, they want to do this like whole we're all one big community, and that's not
That's
how
not
it
how it
works when you
works,
get
no.
big. And that's the thing is with something like streams, which are built up around personalities and people, you can't expect there to be one like fit all um, uh, solution to a community for that. And it's just so silly to me when people want to make this like, oh, we're all one big community. The streamers support streamers, and I think it's important for streamers to support streamers.
But not
However,
exclusively. Like if,
yeah, and the big problem that you run into is the people who are big on Beam. The big just get bigger and they don't spread the love to smaller streams. They just spread the love to other big streamers
yeah.
or to people they've befriended. And that's not, to me, the way that you grow community. The way you grow community is by trying to include outsiders, people who have not been included, and making people feel welcome outside of that. And I mean, there's a lot of hypocrisy in the Beam community and things like that that I don't really want to get into in terms of drama, but it's there. It's there, and it's a problem. And that's where my that's where my I think biggest complaint comes in is there's just like so much about the Beam platform that I don't like, that it very much outweighs the reasons I do like it, and the only reason I stay is because my core viewer base, my core community base moved to Beam because of the better experience for viewers. And I'm not one to completely shut out a platform, especially if my viewers like it, because I'm willing to give anything a try as long as it doesn't ruin the quality of my content, and it doesn't jeopardize my content in any negative way. However, it causes a lot of confusion for my Twitch viewers who see the relay from Beam, and they get confused by that, and vice versa.
Yeah.
It causes a lot of in Beam. An interesting view is that if you're a restreamer like I am, where I do Beam and Twitch, I don't pay enough attention to both chats, which is simply untrue, because both chats appear in the same window for me on my bot. But there's this whole entire like silly viewpoint that restreamers are kind of like scum almost.
Oh yeah.
So,
Well, that's the
yeah,
elitism talking again. That's just
exactly.
like if you're not 100% with us, you're against us.
Yeah, exactly. You're not part of the crew, so we're not going to give you any attention. And it's a dangerous viewpoint to have because Beam can't survive under that viewpoint. And the
Yeah.
problem is their devs propagate it. That's the problem. Is
Yeah.
that their developers, the people making the platform, have this "we're special snowflakes, we're so great, look at us," when they're going up against Twitch, who has millions, if not tens of millions of viewers, and they've got 1,000 at any time. So they really can't afford to do it. And I mean, I could go on and be, I'm off topic,
Yep.
so I apologize.
That's
But
okay.
I just that this upcoming year, I'm going to give Beam another shot. I'm going to give it its chance. I'm going to give it a few more months, and if I don't see any more tangible growth, I'm just going to axe it. I'm going to tell my viewer folks who actually, who moved over there from Twitch. I'm just going to say I'm done with Beam because it's not resulting in any tangible growth, and it's not worth the confusion for my Twitch viewers who don't understand how the relay works right away, to continue to inflict it upon them, because so far I have seen nothing but Twitch growth in what growth I have seen, which is great. My goal is to continue to foster community, and try not to get hung up on numbers. And I think that's my biggest challenge right now is the numbers game. I mean, I think it's good. I think it's okay to have numbers goals to say at 1,000 followers or whatever. We'll do a 12-hour stream or 24-hour stream, but I think it's also important not to get hung up on the lack thereof.
Yeah,
and
I think
that's where I'm having trouble.
The big problem is being like, oh, this guy has more numbers than me, I'm not as good as that guy, and that's the big problem with the numbers game, where you just sit down and you compare yourself based on followership rather than quality of content, because the followership can fluctuate so rapidly.
Yes.
So it's just
and that's, I mean, because you can get lucky and get rated and gain 100 followers, but none of them stick around to watch your content again.
Yeah.
And what does that mean for you? Nothing.
Yeah.
So that's where like I'm gonna try so hard to refocus. It's just it gets very discouraging to see zero growth, especially day after day. That's where my biggest challenge has been these past couple of weeks. Is I've had a couple of days over the past month where I've seen tremendous followership and new people coming in and talking and growth in that regard, and then you see like zero. You see people pop into, you see the, your chat list where it shows the names of the people in, viewing your stream. And, you see this huge list of people that you've never seen before, but none of them engage, none of them follow. And it just gets disheartening because it's like, where's my connection? How do I do that? So I'm taking steps to try to remedy that. One of the cool things about my bot is it does a whisper to new people, people who have never viewed before, who pop into my chat list, and it'll send them a whisper and say, and I've rewritten my whisper to say, hey, welcome to the stream. Tim's very outgoing guy, so feel free to engage and join in the conversation, and if you don't, that's cool too. And it just pretty much says, feel free to join in, and don't be afraid, because we're friendly here. And I think that's one of the big things, is making it more welcoming and more open.
How is there a delay when they show up? Is it like a 10-minute delay or a 15-minute delay?
It depends. For Beam, I think it's almost instant. For Twitch, it can be a delay depending on when their API updates.
Okay. I would recommend putting like a 5-minute delay on that, because there are a lot of people who don't like being called out or noticed that they're being like they're watching somebody. And this was actually a topic that we brought up earlier in the when we were just talking on Twitter, is like Twitch and YouTube and everything else is just casual voyeurism in a lot of in like a lot of respects, and people don't like being notified that they know that they're watching somebody, like like they're watching somebody else, and I think that that's very important.
But I think for my purposes, my goal is to grow community. And if they come in and don't follow and don't engage, then I'm not really getting much out of that anyways. And as much as I appreciate lurking and viewers, it's very easy to just ignore a whisper from an automated system. And so I think the risk will outweigh the result, I think.
Well, yeah, and it's always worth trying. Like, you can always test it out.
And it is. And not to say that what you said is incorrect, because lurkers are going to lurk and they prefer that way. And it's very true. But I've kind of gotten to a point where I have 11,000 views on my Twitch. And I'm not saying that to brag or anything. I'm saying that because 11,000 views is actually a pretty damn big chunk of viewership. But that's only translated into a very small amount of follows in relation. And that's where I need to figure out how to kind of clinch the engagement of people, turn them from those casual viewers, those lurkers, those voyeurs, into engaged community members. And that's what I'm going to try to do this upcoming year.
That's good.
I think that's my big goal. So if I can, I don't know if I have any kind of like goal for it, but it's one of those things that I'll be happy with when I see it. Like, and I think I'll get used to it. So pretty much this year is I think we have aligned goals. Is the year of the community. Yeah, just grow the community and and I think that's the big one. I'm pretty happy with the way I do my streams, and I'm happy with the way that they appear so far. And I mean, that's always gonna change because you know how flighty I can be sometimes. So there's a few things that I want to do. Like, I want to get some art made for the channel, which I'm already in contacts with some folks about, and then I want to get some new music made specifically for my my YouTube videos. Add to that, I know I've been talking forever, and I'm sorry, that's but okay. Add to that, I also have finally settled on a decent upload schedule for my YouTube stuff.
Oh, good.
And I've been doing a lot more full plays on my stream, like actually playing the single player stuff. And I'm of the mind that I really like to upload when I do a full play, I upload it in its entirety, because I feel like it doesn't do a service to cut anything out of a full playthrough. And that's just my viewpoint. But I feel like you lose something if you cut out any piece of a playthrough, because people go to a playthrough to watch a playthrough. They don't go, if they want to watch a condensed version, they can find that. And I'm not gonna do editing for a 14-hour game. So what I've been doing is I played through Doom, I played through Battlefield 1's campaign, and I'm playing through Red Dead Redemption, and I upload those. And so right now my current schedule is two videos a week, and so far it's a Tuesday Thursday type thing, and not including MSIS, of course, but Tuesday Thursday is when I go live with my videos, and these are my big videos, my big playthrough videos. And then as I make new content, as long as I have enough content to fill another week, the next week, so like if I have 2 videos planned for the following week, I'll do bonus releases of the shorter stuff that I actually edit down, the multiplayer stuff, the Sims, things like that I condense and cut down into 15-minute chunks, and those will be my bonus videos. They'll just be like a nice addition alongside of what I already have planned.
That's
if
cool.
that makes sense.
Oh yeah, it does. I think that works really well.
So I think that's kind of to stay the course. I want to make that a habit for the next year. If I miss a week, it's not the end of the world, but my goal would be to have at least 1 video a week, but 2 would be my ideal, and then any more than that is just going to be gravy.
Yeah. Well, that's a good goal to have.
Yep. So those are my goals.
That's good.
I'm done. So
no, that's good. I mean, we both talked a lot longer than we were expecting to, and that's fine.
Yeah.
So I think, well, you're the one that calls the episode to a close this time.
I am. Don't step on my lines, Ben Burns. So Ben, I think that's going to wrap it up for us. So where can we find you on the lovely interwebs?
You can find me online at Twitch, Twitter, Patreon, and YouTube at Ben_Burns. That's BURNES. I make lots of stuff. I don't know. I need to massage that tagline more. I don't know.
I like it though.
I like it.
It's concise.
It's concise, but it's very vague. Like I make music and sometimes do game stuff is more specific, but that's not exactly accurate either. I don't know. I need to figure it out. Anyway, Tim, where can we find you?
You can find me on twitch.tv/ or beam.pro/insertcointheater. I'm live just about every day of the week except for Tuesdays. You can also find me on the internet at insertcointheater.com, and you can find me on YouTube at youtube.com/insertcointheater.com. That's insertcointheater, DOTCOM. And finally, I love engaging on Twitter, so twitter.com/insertcointim. That's where you can find me.
Woo.
Yeah. So, that's I think that kind of wraps it up. Yeah. So I do believe our mandatory social interaction quota for this week has certainly been fulfilled.
Yeah.
But it was good talking with you, Ben. And I think if we do the occasional style of this, I think that's okay.
Yeah, no, definitely. I thought this was a lot of fun. We'll be returning to games next week. We were talking about Borderlands 2 and maybe some other cooperative game if we can think of one. But some of these just kind of sit down and talk games or episodes I think work really well as well. So
if we've got something that we feel is important, I think that's a good thing.
Yeah, and
to do these
for everybody who's watching this on YouTube, if you feel like there's some way that you can improve, like you think that we can improve this content, please leave a message like in the comments.
We're very friendly folks.
Because like I mentioned earlier, like we don't have a boss for this. We're just doing this stuff because we find it fun, and we find it fun because we assume, hopefully, that it's entertaining to somebody who's watching it. So it's like if you think of another way we can make this entertaining or just kind of improve the quality, please let us know, because we're all learning here.
And if you like it as it is, just hit the thumbs up.
Oh yeah, that too, and hit that subscribe button.
Well. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
Like and subscribe.
Like, comment, and subscribe.
Comment.
2 likes equals 2 prayers. I don't know.
This isn't Facebook.
Oh yeah. Shit. Anyway.
One prayer equals $1 million. All right.
All right.
So, yeah, we'll see you guys next week.
Yeah, take care.